Yo, how's it going? HumanitZ here, your Spartan King. Today we're going to be going through various tips to help you survive in HumanitZ. If you're brand new to the game, I definitely recommend starting at the starter spawn, as this location is packed full with all the necessary items you need to survive and learn the game. Every run in HumanitZ can be completely different. Some runs you may find weapons, backpacks, tools around the map straight away, and some runs you might find dilly squat, like me most of the time. It all depends on your luck and what loot settings you have. Me personally, I love a challenge, so I generally play on low or scarce loot. Right, let's get cracking and start the tips. Right guys, straight from spawning in, the first thing I recommend to do is to quickly look around your surroundings and loot any buildings or houses nearby. One good thing is, Zeeks don't tend to be around spawn points, so you should be able to loot without any problems. If you manage to find any weapons, backpacks, tools, happy days. If not, you should make it a priority to work on crafting the improvised backpack, the improvised axe and the improvised hammer. Keep your eyes peeled for stones on the ground and bushes around the spawn area, as these are the only things you're going to need. Firstly, in order to chop the bushes down, you're going to need a stone knife. This is crafted using 2 stones. These are generally scattered around the spawn point on the floor. Just keep your eyes near the road, the fence areas, and in and around the grass. Once you've picked up the stones, just head into your inventory, click the crafting tab, and find the stone knife. Now we've done that, we can go and chop some bushes down. This will give us fibres, sticks, and also bait, but we're not interested in that at the moment. Once you've chopped a few bushes down and collected the items, it's time to work on crafting the improvised backpack. To craft one of these, we need 2 rags and 4 sticks. To craft rags, all we need is fibres. So head into your inventory, click the crafting menu, and you will see we only need 5 fibres per rag. Right, now we should have all the resources we need to craft the improvised backpack. Sometimes the backpack can drop on the floor instead of your character equipping it. If this is the case, just hold F to equip it. Now if you open your inventory, you'll see we have 10 slots. Use the techniques discussed to craft yourself the improvised axe and the improvised hammer. The improvised axe is great because not only can you use it as a weapon, but you can also chop trees down. Once the tree has fallen, you can use your axe to split the logs into wood. Wood at this point in the game is great because we can craft ourselves some wooden weapons. The improvised hammer is a great tool for these 3 reasons. 1, it gives you access to the building menu by pressing B. You can now begin crafting. Secondly, you can use it to go inside of houses and start dismantling different furniture to get resources. Simply press B on the keyboard. And then once it's highlighted the furniture, just hold X to dismantle. Lastly, you can also use the improvised hammer to destroy these rusty looking cars. Keep swinging at it, it'll eventually break. This generally gives us scrap metal, sheet metal, and it can also give us car parts. The next tip guys is to always make sure that you're stocked up on rags. It also helps a lot if you put the rags into the quick slot bar. That way you can just press 5 on the keyboard to heal. There are 3 quick and easy ways to get rags in HumanitZ. The first one is to chop down the bushes. These will drop fibres that you can transfer into rags using the crafting menu. Secondly, you can use any shirts or hoodies found whilst looting. Again, just head into the crafting menu. And lastly, it would be dismantling things around the house like settees, beds, rugs, as these drop ruin claws. Again, if you go into your crafting menu and craft some more rags. The next tip guys is to make use of throwable objects. This is a great way to move all the Zeeks out of the way because they will rush to where the throwable object landed. Simply put the throwable object into your hands and then just throw it at a location and watch the Zeeks all flock to it. This gives you a great path to get out. This technique can also be used, for example, if you're at a military base and you want all the Zeeks to move out the way so you can sneak in and loot the boxes without any Zeeks attacking you. Currently in game at the moment guys, there are 3 items that you can throw. These are the empty can, the rocks, and the glass jars. The next tip guys I recommend is to craft yourself an improvised bow. These only require 2 pieces of wood, 5 fibres and 5 sticks. Obviously with a bow we need to be crafting arrows. These on the general crafting menu cost 1 wood, 1 stone and 5 fibres. I would recommend crafting yourself a workbench as soon as possible, as the costs for arrows are greatly reduced down to just 2 pieces of wood for 5 arrows. The improvised bow is a great range weapon to get stealth kills without alerting all the other Zeeks. There are several types of arrows in game, so in order to cycle through your different arrows you simply just press Y on the keyboard. And as you see at the bottom right, it cycles through the arrows. The next tip we're going to talk about is dealing with hunger and what types of different food sources there is available currently. The first one, the most obvious one, is to eat zombie flesh. No, I'm just kidding. It would be to go inside of houses, head to the kitchen, and loot all of the cupboards, the fridges, in hopes that you'll find some loot. Another great food source early game is to place some traps down. These are craftable by using your hammer. Just press B on the keyboard, head over to the trap section, and you want to be placing down the simple traps. These only require 5 sticks and 1 wood to craft. Simply just click it and then place it down somewhere. Once you've got your resources to be able to craft your trap, go into the build menu with the hammer close to the trap, and then you just press F to finish building, and voila, you have your first trap. In order to arm the traps, we need to get some bait. This is simply obtainable by chopping down bushes. There's a small chance that you'll get some bait. Oh, there we go. You head over to your traps. Press F to open the trap up, and then you simply just drag the bait into your trap. Once your trap is in action, you will have to give it some distance, as it won't catch anything if your character's too close. Just come back to it after a loot run or something, and hopefully you would have caught something. Another great food source is hunting deers, bears, chickens, rabbits, or even wolves if you're brave enough. These are all running wild in the world. Just grab your improvised bow and get your hunt on. Just make sure you crouch. Last thing you want to do is scare off the animals. Just be careful if you got your eyes on a bear, as the improvised arrows don't do too much damage. May take a few shots. The bears do generally run off first, but don't be fooled because they'll come running back after you. Just give it a little bit of time. Or in our case, we've scared the bear off and it's ran and attacked an AR. In order to skin the bear, you are going to need a knife or a blade of some sort. All you do is simply just hold F. You can also loot these chicken coops to get eggs. They do come raw. You can either eat them raw, or alternatively head over to your cooking stove and you can boil the egg there. Let's talk fishing traps. Very similar to the simple traps. If you're near water, you can place the fishing traps down. These only require 10 sticks and 6 wood. Once you've finished off your fishing trap, just add bait and you're good to go. Just return back after a short while and fingers crossed you've caught a fish. Right, on to the last food source idea, fishing. Like all the rest of the beginner improvised items, we can craft an improvised fishing rod. Head to the crafting menu and you will see the improvised fishing rod on the top row. These require 3 sticks and 1 thread. If you're unsure how to get thread, again, these can just be crafted. If you just see at the bottom of the crafting menu, it just requires 10 fibres. Once you have your fishing rod and bait, it's time to get fishing. Just simply left click and your character will cast the line out. Then this box will appear on your left hand side. There are 2 aspects to fishing, the tension gauge and the line meter. Our goal is to reel the line in without the tension gauge filling up to max. If this happens, the line will snap and we will lose the fish. Once you get a bite, left click on the mouse to attempt to hook it. If successful, you begin reeling it in. The aim now is to watch the tension gauge and start reeling it in with the left click. If the tension gauge is really high, we want to stop reeling for a second until it calms down. After repeating this process, you should have reeled the line in all the way. And then it's time to see what you've caught. Ooh, a perch. Before we finish up on the food sources, guys, I just wanted to let you know there are 3 different types of way to cook your food. These are the campfire, the fireplace, and the cooking stove. Next tip, which is a priority early game, is putting yourself down a rain collector. This is a great way to get fresh, clean water. The only thing you rely on is waiting for the heavens to open up as you need it to rain. The great thing about rain collectors is you don't even need a hammer to be able to craft them. Just head into your craft menu, head over to the other section, and then just place it wherever you want it. Crafting the rain collector is pretty straightforward. All we need is 4 wood, 1 rope, and 1 tarp. The wood, straightforward. Pull out the improvised axe that you've already crafted, go to the closest tree, and knock it down. Don't forget to split the logs to get more wood. The rope for the rain collector is easily craftable in the crafting menu. All it requires is 10 fibres. Hack a few bushes down and you'll get the 10 fibres easily. The tarp, on the other hand, could be a little bit more tricky as we need to loot these on the map somewhere. I've found the best place to loot these are in containers or sheds. If you find yourself struggling, I would advise heading over to the beginner spawn in E4 as there is a tarp on the floor there. Once you've got your rain collector fully built and it's raining, you will start to see it filling up with this light blue indicator. Once you're happy with the amount of water that's been collected, go and grab yourself an empty bottle and then you just drag it into the bottle section on the rain collector and click collect. Tip number 7 is always keeping hydrated. I would recommend always carrying an empty bottle with you. Every time you loot in a house, just make sure you take a trip to the toilet as we can use our empty bottle to gather the dirty water. Simply drag it into the bottle section of the toilet and click collect. Each time we collect the dirty water, you will notice the capacity of the bottle increase. Ideally, we want this at 100%. Now, we need to find a fire source to change our dirty water into clean water. In order to light the fire, we can either use matches or a lighter. If you haven't managed to loot any of these, we can craft ourselves a drill kit. These can be crafted with 3 sticks and 2 fibres, nice and easy. Right, let's get the fire going. Simply hold F on the keyboard. As soon as the fire's lit, press F and the inventory will pop up. Click on the bottle of clean water and it will take 20 seconds to purify. Tip 8, we're going to be talking about pockets. This is the inventory space our character has when spawning in. This is 5 slots and I believe it's very important and wise to have certain items in our pockets. The first must-have item in slot 1 is our healing means. This can be rags, painkillers, medkits, etc. In slot 2 and 3, I recommend having some food and drink. This solves our hunger and thirst. In the 4th slot, I generally put a knife, as not only can this be used as a weapon, but we can also skin animals with it. And lastly, in slot 5, I always have a lockpick, as you never know when this may come in handy to unlock doors, survivor SUVs, and locked cabinets. Another reason to be smart what you have in your pockets is if you accidentally get killed in game. Having the items discussed previously, it increases our survivability until we at least get our loot back. A great skill that you can unlock is a skill called Deep Pockets. It does require 4 skill points to unlock, but it is worth it in my opinion, as this gives us another 5 slots in the pocket area. Now you could add items like bullets, energy drinks, etc. What I normally do to organise my loot a little bit better once I've got a backpack is store all my tools, weapons and food all the way down at the bottom of the backpack, so anything new that I pick up, it goes to the top of the backpack and I can keep organised. Tip number 9 is mark your map. Like most games, to get your map up, you simply just press M on the keyboard. Marking your map is massively important when it comes to remembering what houses you've looted, whereabouts you left loot, etc. On the left hand side of our map, we have a bunch of different symbols that we can use and also a variety of colours. Once you've selected a symbol, select yourself a colour, give it a name, and then place it on the map with right click. Here's an example of one of my marked maps. As you can see where deer have been roaming, the scrap cars, where certain items are in houses that are found. I always tend to mark the nodes as well, like coal, iron, as late game you're going to need these. Another piece of advice here guys would be to make yourself a little list in the blacked area of the map of all different symbols that you've used and what you've used them for, so you can relate back to it. On to the last tip of this video, tip number 10. This is about securing and protecting your base. Once you've found a location that you like the look of and you think it would make a perfect base or even a temporary base, my advice is to get it fortified as soon as possible, as the last thing that we need is Zeke sneaking in and destroying your stuff. Firstly, we want to be putting down ourselves a spawn point. Not only is this great as we can spawn in our house, but also it adds a radius where Zeeks don't spawn. Just head into the other section and you'll find the spawn point there. This requires 2 scrap metal. There are a few different ways we can obtain scrap metal. Firstly, the most easiest way is to go inside our houses and dismantle cookers, showers, beds. All of them will give you scrap metal. The second method is to pull out your hammer and destroy these rusty looking cars. These drop scrap metal also. The third method, if you happen to have some sheet metals, is to convert it into scrap metal using our crafting bench. Just remember, once you've placed your spawn point, to press F on the keyboard or else it won't activate the spawn point. The first and most important thing when it comes to fortifying your base is getting up wooden barricades. These stop zombies from smashing your windows and jumping through. The new snapping system added to the game makes it very easy to place the wooden barricade windows. You may have noticed that the required resources for this is 5 wood and 10 nails. The wood you already know how to get. As for the nails, there are a few different ways to get them. Depending on your luck, the easiest way is just to loot a box of nails. If you're as unlucky as me, you'll have to do method 2, which is dismantling furniture like tables, chairs. The last way to get nails is using the crafting bench. It does require 1 scrap metal, but you do get 10 nails. Just a quick tip here guys, before you barricade all your windows up, just remember it's always good to have an escape route, just in case zombies overrun your house. Next, we want to protect our doors from being easily booted in by Zeeks. We need to make use of locks. The majority of houses, front and back doors, already have locks installed. You just have to hold L on the keyboard to lock the door. Once we start progressing our base and adding more doorways, we are going to have to make the use of locks. Currently in game, there is a normal lock and an advanced lock. The first thing we need to do when installing the lock is to make sure the door is closed, or else we can't place the lock. Right, once we've got the door shut, we simply go into our inventory, right click the lock we want to install and click use. The advanced lock is slightly different. Installing it is the same, but with these locks we have added security as we can add our own key code. Simply add the code you want and click unlock. Another way to protect your base is to add a layer outside of your house. This means that the Zeeks have to destroy 2 doors instead of 1 to get inside your house. As we progress in the game, we are able to upgrade our builds. Just simply get the build menu up and you can press Y to cycle through the build options. Once you've picked what upgrade you'd like, just hold Y to install it. If you have had a hold at your base and have tried to knock your barricades down, you can go in the build menu and press F to repair the damage. The amount of resources required is on the right side. Another great fortification for your base early game is making the use of traps. These 2 easy traps to make are the log stakes and the pitfall traps. The log stakes are pretty easy to make, all they require is 2 logs and 1 rope. The beauty about these traps is the zombies take damage when they're close to them. The pitfall trap on the other hand are one of my favourite traps, just because it's satisfying to watch Zeeks fall into the pit. This is Sparta! These things are relatively easy to craft, it just requires 2 wood, 1 rope and 5 sticks. Here's just a little clip to show how effective these pitfall traps are. Just a pre-warning though, these traps do break after a certain amount of Zeeks have fell into them, so just be careful. The last thing regarding building that I should mention, that there is a skill available called Resourceful. This greatly reduces the amount of resources you need to place all buildings in game. Right guys, that is it from me. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video and you've learnt a thing or two. Please, if you don't mind, drop a like and subscribe to the channel so I know that you guys are enjoying the content and you'd like me to make more of it. Appreciate it guys, take it easy, your Spartan King out.